Okay, so I have discovered such a profound secret. Um, Something that I just had never realized before in my entire life. Knowing of the Most Holy Rosary and true devotion for, um, I'd say right at about 26 years, but so say 25 years, a quarter of a century. Knowing of them, just knowing of them, never knew that this was the case, that this was such a profound truth. And so I just figured I would just take a shot at just documenting what it is that I've discovered, and maybe it'll help me learn more by being able to watch this video, and just to be able to speak about it. I might be able to learn more too. And what it comes down to is it's the relation between true devotion to Mary, which is a book written by St. Louis de Montfort. You can easily find it online. You just search True Devotion to Mary, and it's a free PDF. It's right online. It's so easy. Um, and then The Secret of the Rosary. Okay, obviously, I've talked about that before, and there's even the audio version online to get that, which I've talked about that too. Now, there's a relation between the two of them that I wasn't aware of until very recently, like within the last week, I'd say. Um, and let's see how I would best describe it. I've opened the wrong page here. One moment, looking for my notes here. Okay. And here's what I've written. Here's just the way I've written it. I'll just read it off. I'm calling it the Unwritten Secret of Secrets because even St. Louis de Montfort doesn't mention this himself. I don't doubt for a second that he knew it, but for whatever reason, he didn't mention it, and I don't know why. But he didn't even mention it as existing. Like, in True Devotion to Mary, there is a secret, and that secret he describes it in True Devotion, in the book True Devotion to Mary. He describes the secret, explicitly, actually, but doesn't mention that it's a secret. He just mentions it, and that is that at the depths, the greatest expression of true devotion to Mary, we are unified with Jesus Christ in the womb of our Blessed Mother, and we dwell there spiritually, in our mind, in our hearts, and it's like we're not in the world anymore. We are in the womb of the Blessed Virgin and with the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and it's like a shelter. And so the world is out there. It might pull at our mind and hearts and our awareness, but our interior, if you, I'm pointing to my chest, our interior is in the hearts of Jesus and Mary, in the womb of her Blessed Mother. And that's called the secret of Mary. And there is a book that um, that St. Louis de Montfort wrote called The Secret of Mary. Okay, and in that book, he explicitly describes the union with Jesus Christ in the womb of our Blessed Mother, and then that is the actual secret of true devotion that he um, that he describe. He also describes it in true devotion. He just doesn't say it's a secret. Um, but anyway, that's it. In other words, if you want like the penultimate experience and even definition of true devotion to Mary, like the fruit of it, it is dwelling in the womb of our Blessed Mother in union with the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and that's it. That's it. And it's not it's not like a conceptual thing. It's not like an imagination or imagining. It's actually a real. It's really where we are in our minds and our hearts, and I guess our souls. And they are. taking care of us. Blessed Mother takes care of us there. Um, and she's the Queen of Heaven and Earth, so you can't uh, be in a better place in your mind or heart or your soul. And so, um, most recently, our Blessed Mother helped me to re-embrace, if you will, true devotion. Where true devotion, you can be a devotee of our Blessed Mother, and it you'll remain her slave. You'll remain her slave as long as you don't renounce that status. So that all of your good works, sacrifices, and are given to her to distribute. They're not yours, and you give everything to her, and that's an understanding there, and that that you're her slave, and you never take that back, and you always have that relationship with her, and that can exist even if that exists even if we don't practice the interior portion of the devotion, meaning actually moment by moment. This is the devotion. It's living in the womb of our Blessed Mother in union with the Immaculate Heart of Mary and the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Every moment, it's moment by moment. Every thought, every breath, every heartbeat, everything that we do is offered to her. And so that that's it. So even though I wasn't living that life, which is living true devotion, I still remained her slave in my heart. I never um, recounted that. So most recently, through an amazing um, and it actually was through the Most Holy Rosary, through the 15 decades of the Most Holy Rosary, she burnt out everything that was in my life, that was in my mind and heart and soul, that was keeping me from living the life interiorly of true devotion. And I found myself, um, it's filled with so much pain. I just had so much pain that all I could do was put myself into the mysteries of the Rosary. Like, it goes the Annunciation, the Visitation. Each one is a mystery. There's 15 of them. So when you put yourself into the mystery, it's like putting myself into the visualization of the actual events in my mind and heart. I put myself into that, so that there was not. I just like said, forget me, forget myself, forget the world, forget everything in my life, forget everything. I'm just giving myself entirely to dwelling entirely in the mysteries of the Rosary. And I just take all my consolation and there, and in the pain that I had, it didn't like go away, but instead it was like unified with the heart of Jesus and the suffering of Jesus. And so it was like it, and I just kept praying and praying and praying the rosary, just kept praying. It didn't stop, and I don't know how many times and how long. I just kept going and going, and it was like all the pain was just burnt out, just burnt away, and kind of like I was healed. And then the next thing I know, uh, I just started practicing true devotion. It just kind of, I just decided I was going to do it, and I remembered how to do the internal practice because I had learned it before, but I hadn't done it for like so many years. And so, and then, okay, so then I'm starting to live the internal life of true devotion after this amazing experience with the mysteries of the Rosary. And I prayed a bunch of like 3 or 4 rosaries in a row like that, just because I was in so much pain. And then it was the only refuge. It's like the only place to be that I could dwell. And it's like when I was there, it's like my mind split. I mean, it would have been like, I don't know how you psyche splits. Like if you just go, I don't know if you just go entirely insane, you just go nuts. I guess with people in the world, that's what would happen. But instead of that happening to me, it's like I experienced a psychic split. like I could feel my mind and heart, like, or my mind splitting, like it was cut in half, like shattered. And but instead of it being in the world and having it happen, it was in the heart. It was in union with the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and I have to assume the Immaculate Heart of Mary in the mysteries. So I was like in union with the mysteries when it happened. So like I could still remember. I mean, it's like it was it was just like because the pain was just so much. And it was like my whole life was stacked on top of me, and all I could just feel was pain of my entire existence, which was so horrendously ugly. And and then it was like my mind just went, and but it was in the hearts of say Jesus and Mary, so they were there, you know. So it was just like I was okay, you know. Instead of I don't know what would have happened otherwise. Um, and I just kept praying the Rosary over and over, like 3 or 4 times. I mean, like so like 15 decades, 3 or 4 times in a row. Just kept praying because there was nothing else to do. And so then I started. After that, I started living true devotion, and then I guess it was today at church that I realized that, well, it was like this amazing experience where, I mean, through Lent, it was because of Lent, you know, I had a deeper experience of the fourth sorrowful mystery, the carrying of the cross. It was like because I went to the mission, they have a Lenten mission where it's preached, um, and it's to, you know, bring you to a greater devotion to our Lord in your life. And at the last day, I went to all every day of the mission, and when you do that, you get a special. It's a special grace when you go to every day of the mission. So I went to every day of the mission, and on the last day, um, it, the priest focused on the fourth and fifth sorrowful mystery because they also coincide with the sorrows of our Blessed Mother. And so this is what he did. And after that, I had this enhanced understanding of the fourth sorrowful mystery, that deeper understanding that was like a gift, that it wasn't there before, and that after that mission it was there, and now it's there. And it's kind of like I'm unified with Saint Simeon, and I'm carrying the cross next to our Lord, and it's just like the visualization is more vivid. It's like deeper. It's like something is done in there, so that now it's deeper in my heart now. So anyway, through that experience, all of a sudden, now that I was practicing true devotion, living that life in the womb of our Blessed Mother, actually living in there, so you're like in, you know it because you're at total peace. The world can't touch you. I mean, it tries, and there's things around that will attempt to distract you through your senses. Um, but the but if you remain perfect in your devotion in the womb of our Blessed Mother, then the world cannot touch you. And so since I was doing that through the practices of true devotion, you can obviously read exactly how to do that in True Devotion to Mary, the book by Saint Louis de Montfort. And anyway, because of that, then I realized the connection between the mysteries of the Rosary and the experience of, or the fruit of, true devotion, which is actually living in the womb of our Blessed Mother, experientially, in union with the Immaculate Heart of Mary and the Sacred Heart of Jesus. That the 15 mysteries, the key to, as we know, the key to the Rosary is devoutly meditating upon the sacred mysteries. There's 15 of them. So, what devout consideration or devout meditation upon those mysteries entails is, like St. Louis de Montfort says, visualization of those mysteries, where we visualize Jesus and Mary in the mysteries. And what I realized is that the experience of doing that and the experience of living the interior life of true devotion are the same. They're the same experience. And then that's when I made the connection about our Blessed Mother, where twice in the Bible it says, and she treasured these things up in her heart. And so that's 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 the fruit of the Most Holy Rosary. And so the Most Holy Rosary is simply an extension of true devotion to Mary. And it's an infallible and extensive, comprehensive guide to how to live true devotion in our lives. Because, like St. Louis de Montfort says, the Rosary is a encyclopedia of virtue. So, all of the painstaking detail he goes into in describing the virtues associated with each mystery are so important because they guide us how to live true devotion. And so this is such a profound thing, and it's not a theoretical or intellectual or conceptual thing. It's an experiential reality. And so, uh, to sum this up, here's what I've wrote, and it is the unwritten secret of secrets. Because even though St. Louis de Montfort mentions specifics about the Rosary and specifics about true devotion and how praying 15 decades of the Rosary is a sign of or a method of expressing true devotion, he never, and I there's without a doubt he knew this. He knew it, but for whatever reason, he didn't mention it, and I don't know why. But he knew it. It's impossible. I guarantee you, it is 100% impossible that a saint as massive as he is and so well versed in these things could not know this. But he never mentions it that I found. I mean, I'll keep reading the materials and see if I can maybe find where he mentions it in a hidden way or something. But he never mentioned it explicitly. Nope. Anyway, so that's why I call it the unwritten secret of secrets, because we know there's the secret of the Rosary, we know there's the secret of Mary, and we both know what those are because we've discovered them separately. But when you put them together, it is the unwritten secret of secrets. And here's what I wrote: the 15 decades of the Most Holy Rosary are treasured up in the Immaculate Heart of the Blessed Virgin Mary, so that devout consideration of the sacred mysteries unifies the soul in the same manner as the practices of true devotion. That is, those that meditate devoutly on the sacred mysteries of the Most Holy Rosary enter into the womb of the Blessed Virgin in union with the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And thus, living the Rosary is practicing and living true devotion to Mary. So there it is. Okay. So thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and upload this at 20 minutes.